One of the most powerful things you can do in the interview process is demonstrate that you're a great cultural and value alignment fit in the interview. And this is no different with JP Morgan Chase. However, most candidates do not do this. They are not intentional about demonstrating in the interview that they're going to be a great value alignment fit. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do today. Now, this is the fifth and final video in the 5-part series on how to get a job with JP Morgan Chase. So if this is the first video you're seeing, make sure you go back and watch all the videos up to this point. They are meant to serve as a 5-part series that should position you to get a job with JP Morgan Chase and give you a massive unfair advantage over your competition. All right. With that being said, let's get started. Now, this really is 2 parts. First, you have to understand what their values are. There's no way you can demonstrate you're a good value fit if you don't know what their values are. So first, we're going to go through their values, and I'm going to prompt you to do additional research if necessary on specific values. And then the second part of this is we're going to show you exactly what you can do to demonstrate you're a great value alignment fit in the interview process. The first is community development. Then they have careers and skills. Then they have business growth and entrepreneurship, followed by financial health and wealth creation, and finally, environmental sustainability. Now you can see from the images I've put on the screen, they have their definitions for each one of these values, but this encompasses what they believe in. You know, this is their why, this is their how, this is how they operate as a culture, and these are their values. So it is really important to just get a baseline understanding of what it means to them. I would dig around further on their website, because on their website, you'll be able to learn about stories and a little bit more about their commitment, but it makes sense as part of your preparation to truly understand these. Now, let's get into how you can go about demonstrating you are also a good value fit for these values. Now, the easiest way you can do this is when they ask you, why are you interested in this job? You can name drop one of their values as a motivator for you to pursue this job. So environmental well-being, right? Like that's a value and it's an easy one to go here. Now, you'll know if you watched one of my earlier videos, the one when I teach you, how to answer this question, why do you want to work for JP Morgan Chase? The way you want to answer this is the 50-50 rule. So the first 50% of the answer needs to be about why the company is appealing, in this instance, environmental wellness, and the second 50%, well, that needs to be about why the position is a great fit for your skill set right now in your career. So you can use any of their values, any that make sense to you, any that resonate, but I've always found that environmental wellness is an easy one. So if they say, hey, Ben, why do you want to work for JP Morgan Chase? You can respond like this. Well, that's a great question, and there's a lot of reasons why I'd be interested in working for JP Morgan Chase. But while I was doing my research for this interview, one of the things that I came across was some of your values. And I found your environmental wellness component to be really, really motivating. I love that a company of your size, with your history, is putting forth significant efforts to make a positive environmental impact. That's really important to me, and I find it to be motivating to align myself with a company that also shares that value. In addition to that, I feel like I'd be a really good fit because in the last couple of years, I spent a lot of time doing blah, 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 blah. And that's how you do this. Now, I did a few things there. I said, great question. There's a lot of reasons why I'd want to work for JP Morgan Chase. While I was doing my research, letting them know that you prioritize doing well here, there's not a single recruiter, hiring manager, or HR person who does not appreciate a researched candidate. That's seen as positive. And then I went on to say, this was motivating to me. I share that value. I was specific about that. And then here's why I'd be a good fit. And if you can do that, it's a great way to demonstrate your interest in the role, but also value alignment. The next really powerful way is at the end of the interview, they're going to ask you if you have any questions. And one of the things you can do is actually ask them what they like about working for JP Morgan Chase. And when you do this, most of the time, you will find that they're going to say things about the values, right? They'll say, well, I love working here because it's a blank. They won't always do that. Sometimes it's not related to the values, but most of the time, they're at least going to touch on a value here. And when they do, you can respond by saying, you know what, that's so interesting that you mentioned that. I saw on your website that was one of your values, and I loved that. That's really important to me. So hearing that, that's one of the things you love about working here, I really like that because that was actually part of my motivation for pursuing this opportunity. What you've done there is you've demonstrated value alignment fit, but then you've also linked yourself to them. What values matter to them also matter to you. It's a great way to make a connection in an interview with the person interviewing you while simultaneously demonstrating that you were in strong value alignment. Now, the next thing you can do is you can use an ASQ, alignment statement question. And that's basically you stating a statement of alignment followed by a question. So it's at the very end of the interview, they're asking, do you have any questions? And what you can say is you can basically drop an ASQ. So you'd say, one of the things that I really enjoyed on your website was JP Morgan Chase's commitment to community development. I found that to be incredibly motivating. Can you give me an example of a time where you've seen that as part of the values be enacted while you've been working here? Something like that, right? Give me an example of a time you've actually seen this value demonstrated at your organization. And it's a great opportunity to let them share something meaningful. Most of the time they're going to say, oh yeah, one of the things, blah, 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 right? And they'll share with you a time they've experienced it, they've witnessed it, they've participated in it. And then you respond, wow, that's really great to hear. Reading it on the website was awesome. And I felt really connected to it because that value was also really important to me. But hearing you, a person who's actually employed by the organization, share your story really hits home for me. I find that to be so interesting, and I'd love to align myself with a company that has such a strong value connection to me. Something like that is really going to hammer it home. It's an easy way to do it. It's a powerful thing that you can do in the interview to close out with them and show them strong value alignment at the end of the interview. Now, one of the things that I really want you to do is I want you to watch this video here on salary negotiation. If you've watched all 5 of these videos, you have prepared to the nth degree. You're really putting the time to become a great candidate. So you also want to make sure you are maximizing your value and getting the best possible salary. So I am done here, but I'll see you over there.